101.7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick in the morning on a Monday. One of my favorite parts is doing a little sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going down?
Same here, Patrick. I love it. And if you're a Dodgers fan, you're going to love to hear this. It's finally here. On Tuesday, Shohei Ohtani will make his Dodgers spring training debut against the Chicago White Sox. So the $700 million man, our first time to officially see him in Dodger blue. That is tomorrow in spring training.
And I don't know if you've been watching any of this spring training. It sounds like, that's going to add even more firepower to this lineup. It is just home run, home run, home run, home run already. And now Ohtani's going to get added. Look out. This Dodger lineup looks like it's going to be extremely tough, at least right off the bat.
Yeah, and the pitching staff is not nothing to, snooze at either, because this pitching staff is loaded, especially with the new guys coming on. In fact, the new guys, Glasnow, and I'm going to butcher the other guy's name, the new guy from Japan, but they are supposed to be the front end guys, like the number 1 and number 2 starters in this new rotation. So this Dodgers team is going to look a lot different. But they might be, at least on paper, we always say on paper because you got to prove it on the field time and time again. On paper, they might have the most talent they've ever had. And again, the Dodgers are going all in. They pushed all the chips into the middle of the table saying, we're going to go all in and try to win a World Series. They brought Clayton Kershaw back. That was not by accident. They're going all in. It's World Series or bust, no doubt, for the Dodgers this year.
I flicked on a couple of, listening to the radio, listening to some spring training. And remember, we've already talked about Teoscar Hernandez.
Yes.
Of course, I turned on the TV. Huge bomb right away. So I'm like, oh, boy, this Dodger team looks very good. And we've talked about this as well. They do, however, have they're supposed to win pressure, which I do not love in any situation. I hate to bring it up, Pep, but the 49ers were supposed to win the thing. And there's a different kind of pressure when that's on, I'm telling you. Nevertheless, they look tough.
Yeah, when you have a huge payroll and a bunch of superstar players, yes, the pressure is there. I'm with you. I'd rather be like, the scrappy little Seattle Mariners. Yeah. Nobody thought anything of them this season. And look, they're going to make the playoffs. What a great story. That's fun, too. I think I'd rather be in that kind of position.
That's how I was raised.
That would be the Angels this year. They got a bunch of young guys coming up, and apparently they're really excited about this young talent. So I don't know if they're going to put it together and be like a playoff team, but I'd kind of rather be in that boat like, hey, nobody is giving the Angels a chance this year, but they've got these young guys and maybe they develop and progress, quicker than we thought, and they're going to make the playoffs. What a great story. That's the other side of it. I think I'd rather be on the other side.
Definitely. The beauty is baseball's weird. So we have that going for us. So who knows?
Yes. But until then, we're on Ohtani watch Tuesday against the White Sox. So stay tuned for that. We got to talk basketball, Patrick. We just came out of the NBA All-Star break, and we call it the halfway point of the season, but truly it's not. We're about 2/3 of the way through the NBA season. We're getting dangerously close to the playoffs, which will begin in April. And for the Lakers, we talked about them. Right now, they're just trying to keep a spot in that play-in tournament, which is the number 6 through the number 10 teams in the Western Conference. Well, the Lakers are currently number 9. The Phoenix Suns, who I thought should be a lot higher in the West, they're only number 8. The Suns won a head-to-head matchup against the Lakers yesterday, 123-113. And I totally forgot that Frank Vogel, the former head coach of the Lakers with the bubble championship, right, during that COVID season, he's actually the head coach in Phoenix. So, that probably feels a little bit better than most wins for Vogel when you beat the Lakers.
Yeah, a couple of teams we don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Plus, Phoenix dealing with some things. KD was kind of bitching at some fans, who called him a name as he ran onto the court. And then you also kind of hear that Devin Booker and Kendall Kardashian are kind of getting back together. Or one of the Kardashians, there could be a Kardashian curse going on.
Yes.
Look out.
Yeah, if there's a Kardashian involved at all, yeah, it's gonna go south. It's not gonna do well. At least the Phoenix Suns, they have a big 3, and they should be really good. And I'm not sure if it's because they don't have the supporting cast, like these role players. I'm not really sure what their deal is. I don't follow them very closely, but for them to only be number 8 in the West seems a little weird. What year are we living in when Oklahoma City And the Clippers and Minnesota, those are like some of the top teams in the Western Conference. When you've got teams like, Dallas, they've got the big two with Luka and Kyrie Irving. Of course, the Lakers, the Phoenix Suns, the Denver Nuggets are the defending champions. They're kind of in the middle of the pack right now in the Western Conference. So it's just kind of a strange season. So I'm very curious to see how the next 5 or 6 weeks unfold during the regular season.
Times are changing. I think something different is going to happen. We need to start preparing ourselves, especially for those in the Los Angeles area. I mean, it's hard to think this, but the Clippers could be making some noise. I mean, We'll believe it when we see it. However, it is going to be a different year.
It could be. And listen, I do want to talk about the Clippers right here. They did lose to my Sacramento Kings last night, 123-107. When Sacramento's on, they're hard to beat because they just score a lot of points. They play no defense, but they'll score a lot of points. But actually, Patrick, I just saw this here on this Monday morning that the Clippers are going through a complete rebrand. And I think that's good because they're going into a new arena. They're going to try to step out of the shadow of the Lakers. But in this new rebrand, if you Google it, they've got a new logo going forward now. It's going to be like a compass with a naval ship inside the compass, and it's going to be heavy on navy blue. So you still got like the traditional, I'd call it royal blue, and you're going to have the red, but there's going to be some gray in there. There's going to be some navy blue, I guess, with the navy, naval ship to go along with that. So they're complete rebrand going forward. So they're going to try to win this year, but I think going forward, they don't want to be in the Lakers' shadow anymore. They want to be their own separate, in their own building, own separate look, brand new look.
It sounds like they're going to their roots here. A lot of people are like, what's a Clipper? It's a ship. So now we can kind of, leave all the fogginess out of it.
Yes.
So people can find out what it really is.
Pun intended, leave the fog in that naval ship and go for the complete rebrand. Can you imagine if they won an NBA title and they go into a brand new arena, brand new look? Like, oh man, they would be the toast of the town in LA, especially if the Lakers underwhelm again this year.
It seems like it's going to work out because ever since this new stadium started getting built, it seemed to turn the thing around. Yeah. So maybe the whole problem is they have been in the shadow of the Lakers this entire time, and they need their own spot to kind of shine.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And that all makes sense to me. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers. Got to talk some football, Patrick. We got the NFL Combine going down this week. If you're a quarterbacks guy like I am, we will not see Jaden Daniels, the pride of Cajon, and the QBs until Saturday for their on-field workouts. I hate to say this can make or break your draft status because I'd rather see you make plays in helmets and pads, but a lot weighs on this on-the-field stuff as we go throughout the week in Indianapolis.
Yes, it does, man. We have to wait to see what happens. I mean, even our very own, USC quarterback, we kind of have to see what's going to happen with Caleb Williams. What are the Bears going to do? That's really one of the focuses for sure, man.
Yeah, it looks like a slam dunk that the Bears would take him at number 1, but what if he goes to the Combine and his numbers aren't right? And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The guy makes plays. In helmets and pads and games, he makes plays. So that's what brings value, at least in my opinion, but I don't know. That's why they do the Combine, though. There's a lot smarter people in the NFL world making these decisions.
The underwear Olympics do a little bit of determining, but the NFL offseason, again, it's going to get ratings because we're all on our edge of our seat.
Yeah.
To see what's going to happen.
Yep, can't wait, man. I'll be watching it this week. And Patrick, real quick, just a couple other NFL notes as well. So Eric Bieniemy, who was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs during their first couple Super Bowl runs, remember he went to Washington and became their OC. Didn't really do well, but the Commanders were not a good team. Well, now Eric Bieniemy is going to be offensive coordinator and assistant head coach for UCLA for Deshaun Foster, who's now the new head coach for the Bruins. So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of a big get for UCLA, especially on a team that, from what we heard, did not have a great recruiting class. They're going to the Big Ten. Things are only going to get tougher. But for UCLA, they made a big splash in getting Eric Bieniemy on their staff.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. Partial head coach. Yeah. And I know that he's a very intense and fiery dude. Could work in college, which they're going to need help as they go against these tough teams, Ohio State, all those big guys.
And you and I are old enough to remember Eric Bieniemy was a stud running back at Colorado. Man, that's when I was first getting into college football. Eric Bieniemy was like one of the big names out there. So people forget he was a stud in his day.
Oh, yeah. I was a young kid. First time I heard his name, I thought he was Eric the Enemy. I thought he was like a superhero.
or a villain or something, right?
Yeah.
And finally, the NFL looking to adopt a new kickoff rule, taking it from the XFL rules for 2024. And they want to avoid the high impact collisions on kickoff. So they're looking at a rule where the kicker on the kickoff team would be on his own 35, but the other 10 players would be on the opponent's 35, lined up 5 yards away from the other team. And hopefully that all makes sense. The kickoff returner and the kickoff, the kicker, they're the only players that can move on the field until the ball is caught. So that way, at the very most, the team defending the kickoff will only have maybe 5 or 10 yards to get like a running head start to make a tackle.
And I mean, this does look like, hey, if you've got a super speedster returner, this gives them a chance to wreck shop a little bit. I mean, imagine Devin Hester is probably like, come on, man, let me do that.
Yeah, you could catch the defense flat-footed, really, because, I mean, if you only got 5 or 10 yards to gain a little bit of speed, the kickoff returner, he's going to have the advantage.
I have to admit, I kind of like this, to tell you the truth, because it is taking away the car crash impact, yet it could be really exciting.
Yeah, we get our kickoffs back, our kickoff returns back, right? Because all these kickoffs, they're all touchbacks. Nobody brings them back. So this might bring the kickoff returns back to the NFL and try to make it a little bit safer for the special teams units out there.
Look at us getting down to it. That's what we have, our guy. Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Get my stuff on Inland Sports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. Keep an eye on our guy Jaden Daniels out of Cajon this week at the Combine.
Thanks, Pep.